when you start to look at larger organizations, large software companies, even mid-sized software companies with, say 1,000 employees, but large, you're looking at it from the startup perspective. You start to see organizations that sometimes look like this, where there's a product organization and a technology organization, and the two are separate. And I'm here to tell you that this is a horrible idea. This is a fail. I've seen it fail personally on multiple occasions. I don't know why anybody pretends that this could ever work. And let's just go into why. So what happens when you have a separate, head of product and CTO? And don't get me wrong, you can have separate heads of product and CTO, and I think there's a way to make it work. But you've got a separate product organization where this head of product has directors of product management or whatever, SVPs, however many layers you have. And then all the way down, down that hierarchy, you've got a bunch of product managers, maybe product and project managers down there. And then you've got a technology org, which has got a CTO and then a bunch of, VPs, whatevers, and then engineering managers, and then eventually on down the line, a whole bunch of developers. And so down here at this lowest layer, these folks in this sort of construct are typically recomposed into teams. But that's what's interesting about this. Look, who's the boss of it all? When product and tech are conflicting, who actually makes the call? Or even if these two, even if the CPO reports to the CTO, all the layers underneath, they're all separate. So does the director of product management own what happens next? Does the director of engineering own what happens next? You get conflicts at layer after layer in this sort of organizational leadership conflicts. And I've seen it personally, and I've seen how much this can slow down productivity. I've also seen how just the infighting or the kind of those sorts of conflicts, they lead to poor morale. They lead people to quit or just to fight for fighting's sake. And honestly, it just becomes very political. Because anytime you have an organization where it's not clear exactly where the power structure, lies and how it flows, you're going to end up with that conflict. Even if it weren't for political problems that this kind of an organization creates, the other problem is you have product that is coming to the table with, we need X and Y and Z built. And then you have tech saying, okay, that's going to take, X amount of time. You sort of separated the two out, and quietly they can have different priorities. So the reason this works, you do see some organizations like this, where you can draw a line right here, and this is actually a consulting organization over on this side of the house. So these folks are buyers, these folks are sellers. But guess what? In that setup, that actually functions. Why? Because the folks who are the buyers can fire the consulting organization if they fail. When it's all part of one company, what is the penalty when the engineering organization doesn't deliver on behalf of product? Do they all get fired? From what I've seen, that's almost never the case. So the penalty isn't there. So you end up growing fiefdoms. And so this becomes a fiefdom. And over here, you've got a fiefdom. And among the negative symptoms of the fiefdoms are that over here you get a bunch of wild product plans that get drawn that are never going to get built. And over here you get a bunch of tech for tech's sake, which means random technology projects that have nothing to do with customers, that will never see the light of day, and they're literally just science experiments. And so this is how not to build a large team. I'll get into next how I think you should build a large team.